world seems harsh for an entrepreneur just starting out, with many difficult tasks like finding investors, gathering funds, nurturing a team, and building a product. Founders often are found overwhelmed and directionless. To relieve this tension, we at Goodfirms conducted interviews with successful IT companies and discussed trending topics as well as their impact on the IT industry. So, without any further ado, let's dive into the conversation. So, welcome to another episode of the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable podcast, wherein we talk everything about business, technology, and entrepreneurship. I'm Suhana Bhattacharya, marketing head at Goodfirms, and today we have with us Nital Shah, who is the COO of Uplers. He has been an IT expert for more than 12 years now. He has profound abilities in developing strategic planning for new projects and driving multi-channel ROI through analytics and compelling strategies. Also, talking about the company Uplers has been breaking boundaries and removing limitations by providing companies all over the globe with the best remote talent to meet the hiring needs. Thank you so much, Nital, for joining in today.
Suhana, thanks for having me and thanks for an amazing introduction. Great to be here.
Thank you. So, is there anything that I missed in the introduction that you would like to add?
No, I think Suhana, it was quite spot on. And that's who I am and that's what we do at Uplers. We have been an established agency since 2012. We are more than 1,000 people team now, precisely 1,080 and growing very fast. And we have a target to reach 5,000 in next 5 years. So definitely we are very passionate about the direction of helping India's top talent to meet global opportunity, the mission we are working upon. And that has also boosted our confidence, the direction we are on since COVID, because as we all know, the remote adoption has increased immensely since COVID. So it's a good boost in the direction or the focus what we hold today. And that's helping us to grow faster. We were around 550 people team at the time of COVID, and now we are at 1,000 and growing fast.
That's a great number to have. And looking at the target, I'm sure Uplers will achieve this, because when we were preparing for this interview, we were reminded how Uplers got a stir in the IT industry by offering permanent work from home and even changing the hiring process during the pandemic.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So when the pandemic first struck, organizations had very little time to adjust their operations, and so did Uplers, right? So what measure did firms, especially Uplers, take to adapt to the situation and achieve better result while working from home?
Yeah. So I think definitely it was a sudden transition for all, and so as for Uplers. But first and foremost, priority for us to ensure our team is safe and having a stable work environment around them. So there has been a lot of efforts overnight we have kept to ensure that all the members have managed to move back to their respective cities and they are safe in their respective hometowns. We ensured with the right internet allowance packages and all, they all have established broadband connections and right internet stable connectivity at their home, and all has been equipped with required laptops, because we had everyone on the desktop, and over the night we need to arrange laptops for pretty much majority of our team members. So that was quite a big transition at that time. But the first and foremost priority was to ensure that they are physically, mentally stable, and obviously they have the right infrastructure and right working environment around them. Alongside, definitely there has been a lot of news around that time about people getting layoffs, salary cuts, not getting salaries on time. So we also made our communication with our team very frequent at that time, especially when we were remote, where we given them an updates on a very timely manner about how companies been shaping up with their revenue. And even if with those revenue losses, we given them very clear assurance of there won't be any layoffs. So our promise was to zero layoffs, no salary cuts, and no delays in the payments. Also kind of paid their performance incentives even on time. So I think these signals gave the great boost in the confidence our team had in Uplers. and that has resulted us to bounce back quite swiftly, even in the tough time, because everyone was united, everyone was together. So I think, yeah, definitely a roller coaster ride, but I feel I'm very proud about the team we have at Uplers, and the right measures we take at that time helped us to bounce back quite swiftly.
Okay, that's great because listening to your conversation, I truly feel that Uplers dedicatedly works so that all of their employees could work comfortably from their homes without any kind of problems or interruptions.
Yeah, we had a lot of furniture lying in our offices as well, which we knew that we're not gonna be using for next few years. When after a month or two, when we decided that things gonna be like this for long, the moment we realized that, we also offered them, if whosoever wants to grab those chairs, office chairs or office
That's
desk,
great.
and deploy at their place, because for us they were lying in an empty office for years.
Exactly.
Better
Yeah, and
get
they are
as
primarily for the employees' use, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Right. So companies used to believe that before the pandemic would that offering flexible work schedules or remote working would reduce the amount of work employees completed. Many companies had that kind of notion before the pandemic. But what has companies learned about remote working after 2 years of pandemic and working from home?
So I'm sure a lot of companies would have similar learning as Uplers, and lot would have very different observation and learning. It's all about what sort of approach each individual or each company have taken in last couple of years. For Uplers, if I would have to say, we always believe in giving freedom and flexibility to leverage work from anywhere, because we believe it's a true definition of remote work is work from anywhere. And when we say
Definitely.
work from anywhere, we would prefer and we would encourage our team to leverage those benefits to the utmost of their freedom. But at the same time, always freedom comes with the right ownership and accountability. And that we always ensure that our team is very well aware and in sync with that. We have a strong performance driven culture, which is very output focused. And we have defined KPIs for every role at Uplers. So
Mhm.
ever since COVID and ever since working from anywhere arrangement, our emphasis on KPI monitoring tracking has been quite high. And as far as we are tracking our KPIs of our team very precisely, and if the KPIs are talking loud out about their performance, I think we tend not to go and fuss much about when they are working, how much they are working, and stuff like that. That gives an
Hmm.
extreme freedom to our team, and that also open up their mind space, because now people are able to leverage their right work life balance benefits of utilizing their time on their hobbies, their passion, alongside balancing it out the work. So we have a lot of great feedback from our team who says that we are able to think out of the box much more ever since in this arrangement than being in an office, because we get that mind space whenever we want to take a small break. We can take a break and again resume back, because ultimately what matters is we need to deliver our KPIs, and we need to be accountable for the deliverables which are expected from us. And it has worked
Right.
in our favor as well as a company. So these are the benefits I just spoke about the team. But from a company standpoint, we have a huge benefit, like I mentioned, that we managed to grow from 550 to 1080 in 2 years, just because ever since we are remote, we have huge availability of talent pool across the nation. Earlier, being our head office in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, we had a lot of location restriction, especially when we are hiring and recruiting any new talent to join our team. Now there are no location barrier, which has been helping us immensely to recruit fast and better talent.
You just mentioned about that work from home is actually utilized when you can work from anywhere. So Uplus recently had a workation, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. It's very important for us to be aware. Every coin has two sides, right? And there are pros and cons of everything. Remote working or work from anywhere brings a lot of benefits, but then at the same time, there is a realization that there are some missing pieces, which is that face to face connect. That
Mm-hmm.
connect cannot be substitute 100% with work from anywhere. And we realize that we need to create those moments maybe not replacing work from office totally, but at least supporting that connect. And that's where we have taken initiatives of arranging vacation for our team, and those vacation has been arranged by us as a company. But even
Right.
otherwise, so our vacation has been going on in Goa. There are 5 batches who has been to Goa. Around 300 of us have been to Goa. They have stayed there for 1 week and worked from there. It is an amazing stories we hear from them, and very satisfactory story when they feel so connected with their team post returning from vacation. But the good thing
Definitely.
is, beyond us arranging this vacation, the moment team has been realizing the benefits of this, team within themselves are arranging vacation on their own expenses, which is amazing. So now
Right.
it's more for us to just prove that concept to them and show them that benefit. And then everyone is taking that benefit to a next level.
Right, right, right. So even you mentioned that you have a policy of working from anywhere. So that surely makes cloud-based tech dependency a lot more important than before. So how can companies prepare themselves to deal with such situations in the future?
So I think most companies have realized the importance of cloud-based technology, because most IT companies, I would say, they were quite well versed with this, but even other businesses have realized the importance of this. So there are a
Right.
lot of transition happening from an IT infrastructure standpoint for businesses to switch it to cloud-based technology. Even if we
Mhm.
look at large players out there, be it Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they all are enhancing their product and investing heavily towards the cloud-based infrastructure. So as Uplers, we realize there is no alternate to that, especially when you are in a work from anywhere environment, and hence the importance of cloud-based technology is more than ever before. Definitely, it also brings a lot of other aspects to that as well when it comes to IT security, right? Because when everything is on cloud base, as a company, we also need to be quite vigilant around our IT security and policies around that.
Right.
So we as Uplers has made a lot of enhancements with our IT security policies and procedures in last couple of years, starting from our endpoint security, one login, virtual desktop with Citrix and some other third-party collaboration. We use Time Doctor for time logging, and we have also held a lot of security audits by third parties for someone as an expert to come up and audit our infrastructure and help us to find loopholes, which has also helped us to realize the need of more enhanced and more secure wares within our systems. So I think there is a huge amount of investment and focus going in that direction, because when we are working with international clients and their data, and with marketing and web development and software, a lot of
Definitely.
their data are quite sensitive.
Yes,
Also
it
get
can't be compromised at any
that's correct.
cost.
That's correct. So I think a
Right.
lot of measures has been taken in that direction as well. It wasn't something we were able to ignore, and it's also part of regular, like I mentioned, regular audit process as well as regular training for our team. So there has been a repeated
Right.
thing happening within the team when they are working from their own workspace from wherever in India. They also need to be little conscious and aware about various IT security measures which they should
Yes.
be taking as an individual. So there is
Exactly.
also a set training module for an individual which has been set up especially after COVID.
Okay. So you were talking about special IT, trainings that were given to them. So how did you encourage employees to pick up new skills to help with the transition? Because new technologies were introduced, the hiring models were changed, the working model was changed. So how did you
Yeah.
encourage employees to pick up new skills, learn new things?
True, true. So, continuous improvement and staying ahead of the curve are our key organizational driver, and we have a lot of emphasis around these area. A lot of our R&R reward and recognition programs are also structured around this. So there is
Wow.
a baseline understanding within the team that continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve is very critical. For us, from a tech learning perspective, I think there was no major new technology adoption was there, because being an IT company, we most of the audience is tech savvy. So there wasn't a
Hmm.
challenge when it comes to adopting new technologies, be it any collaboration tools and stuff like that. But I think
Mhm.
there has been a transition in the way of working, especially after being remote. So
Right.
there, there is a lot of training has been arranged, and there is a set remote readiness training module has been kept in place, which helps an individual to groom themselves into how to manage their work life balance, how to work in collaboration in remote, how to do effective communication when you are over a call and not in person, and what is the importance of documentation when you are communicating to your colleagues, your management, and your peers over remote channels in a digital space rather than sitting next to each other. So having realization of that, obviously a lot of initiatives has been taken. There was a good 3 months where we got LinkedIn Learning enterprise version open for the entire
Wow.
organization to groom themselves and pick up any courses which they wanted to pick up. And this was in August 2020, which was a quarter after COVID. When things were settled, we realized that. So yeah, I forgot to mention, so we announced as a company that we are going to stay remote forever on 15th August 2020, only around 4 months post COVID lockdown phase. And ever since then, we were pretty clear that this is our future as Uplers, and we wanted to start preparing ourselves for that. So once the decision was made, the transition and learning in that direction was quite escalated across the organization. And that's where we rolled out LinkedIn Learning to the entire organization for them to leverage to its best. And as I mentioned, also we have a remote readiness course in place where every individual goes through various modules of that to ensure that they are well versed with how to work effectively in remote. Existing members have gone through those, and all the new members as part of their onboarding to ensure
Right.
that they get through that course in the first month after their induction.
Right. So, when teams were working remotely, like you said, the interaction was less, and the team building feeling that the people may get there was a major challenge to develop. So, how did Uplers overcome this? Did any online activities help Uplers help employees to get rid of their loneliness?
Yeah. So like we all have gone through a roller coaster around COVID, right? So there was a phase where everyone was going in a tough time where they were unfortunately losing their dear and near ones. A lot of stress was around, even if their jobs were secure at Uplers, but maybe their parents, their partners, their other family members was losing their jobs, having pay cuts. So a lot of moment of depression was going around. So we collaborated with a vendor called Your Dost, and they run a mental health and well-being program online. So we collaborated with them, and we are still having a good collaboration with them. So where any of our team members are going through that sort of phase in their life, anonymously they can reach out to them, and they take the required consulting in collaboration with that organization. So that has helped a lot to balance out the mental health and well-being of our team. Also, we launch our internal magazine we called Uplers Unplugged. We had about 14 edition of Uplers Unplugged since we launched in July 2020. So in
Okay,
last 2 years.
that's very creative.
Yeah, and it to be honest, it creates much larger impact than what we also envision, because earlier we were all in the one corporate building, everyone was meeting each other, everyone was getting to know updates about each other. In remote, we try to do a lot of frequent communication with our team, but still it's never going to be enough. And that's where our marketing team had an amazing initiative of Uplers Unplugged. And this magazine has all different type of stories. There are personal stories, there are professional updates, people sharing about their hobbies, people sharing about their passion, people sharing about their life journeys and their life lessons. Especially leadership team are sharing that quite frequently. People are also sharing about random things like recipes of while they're cooking at home and many other things, right? But that helps us to connect not just on a professional front but at a personal front, to know each other much better, even being in a remote environment. So I think knowing our existing team or having a good collaboration with them was never a challenge. But
Okay.
as you can imagine, as I mentioned, we were at 550 at the time when we went into lockdown and we declared to stay remote. And now we
Hmm.
are 1080. So,
Hmm.
and obviously from those 550, a lot of people have left. So
Hmm.
if you look at the current dynamics, around 70% of our team is new and who have never met each other. And
Okay.
that's where all these initiatives of workation or Uplers Unplugged or any other initiatives we are taking towards collaboration and connect is helping them to know each other much better on a personal and a professional front. And it
Right.
helps us to bring a better connect and better trust environment within the team.
Right. Okay. So, talking about the hiring and the onboarding process, so what has changed in the onboarding practices to make it more meaningful and feel employee more welcomed into the company?
True, true. So I think as you also ask about hiring process, that has also changed, right? Because when we were in a physical office, we were inviting everyone to come to office for the interview. Even for
Hmm.
the outstation candidate, for any critical hiring, we were inviting them for the final round for face-to-face interview. Now all those perception has been broken that we can only interview and hire people after meeting them face to face. So and to support that we have started relying on technology a lot. So a lot of our hiring now leverage automated assessments on various tools, starting from communication, aptitude, behavioral tests, technical assessments and all. So rather than going with human perceptions and beliefs on who could be the right fit for this role, 70-80% of the assessments is well, screening has been done based on the various assessments we have in place.
Okay.
Only for the final one or two round of interviews candidate would have to do interaction with the hiring managers.
Yes.
So that's especially a big shift in our hiring pattern. When it comes to onboarding, obviously there has been a lot of change there as well, because
Hmm.
now the impression of the company, people don't visit our office, people don't know who Uplers are, people don't know how established we are as a company. Someone joining us from Calcutta, or we also have people from like very different parts of India. Today we have also have two members from Andaman Nicobar, right, working at Uplers, and we have people from Kashmir, Leh, Ladakh, uh, Hyderabad, across the India, right? And they never have been to Ahmedabad. They don't know who Uplers is. So everything they're gonna know about Uplers is how we are going to have their onboarding journey and obviously their experience and interaction with Uplers post their onboarding. So to
Definitely.
start with, we have an amazing onboarding kit which gets delivered to their place 3 days prior to the joining. Then we have a detailed briefing with HR on the day of onboarding. We also have a briefing about IT security and how to work effectively from an IT security standpoint in remote, as I mentioned. We
Hmm.
also have a legal and compliance training in place in their first week of induction, because them staying aware about how to communicate with the clients, what legalities they need to take care of. All these small things are very important, especially in remote, because people don't see each other, people don't know what is happening. At a lot of time they might end up doing something which they are not aware they should be doing or they should not be doing. So giving
Hmm.
that transparency and clarity is very important.
Okay.
There is introduction happening with all the members, with the department heads,
Okay.
and there is an introduction call happening with me and Jamin, who is the CEO of the organization.
Okay.
And we never fail to attend this call, which is on every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We have the call with all the new members in the family who has joined Uplers in that one particular week.
Okay.
So I think there is a lot to. It's a process of ongoing optimization and betterment.
Right.
But I feel we are in a good state. But as I mentioned, we still have a lot to improve upon.
Definitely. And someone listening to our conversation would learn a lot from you and the culture that is there at Uplers.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so moving forward, what will be the future of work look like, and how can companies around the world prepare for any unforeseen circumstances?
So I feel Again, that's my personal opinion. We are still in early days. There are still talks going on around another wave coming up in India. US is still having cases of COVID's been rising. But I
Yes.
feel from a work perspective, I feel world will be divided into three major segments. There will be companies who will declare themselves as a fully remote, like Uplers. There will be companies who would prefer to stay hybrid. What it means, they might call few team members based on their roles and responsibility to office, and few members can stay remote. Or they might go into a setup that you can work 3 days from home, but you would require at least one or twice a week you would have to visit the office. And
Right.
there will be third segment where companies would go back to the roots, as in let's call everyone back office, right? And that's how we wanted to set up. I think nothing
Right.
wrong with any of these approach. It's about an individual preferences and what works best for the respective companies.
Hmm.
But going in that direction, even with those three segments, I believe audience would be also split into all these three different segments, because now
Hmm.
we are dealing with millennials and Gen Z audience. And
Right.
after testing the flavor of working from anywhere during COVID times, I personally believe there will be a lot of preference from the talent standpoint to
Hmm.
work in an organization which offers them fully remote working flexibility. But
True.
time to say. But I feel companies should be embrace this change which COVID has brought to us, and every company should prepare themselves for that, because
Hmm.
the future of work is has to be very people centric, and companies who would build that people centric approach, keeping millennials and Gen Z into consideration, where their preference would be always about work life balance, their preference would be always about freedom and flexibility around work schedule and work priorities. So I think
Hmm.
one or other ways companies would have to adopt what the next generation of millennials and Gen Zs are expecting.
Right.
Also, I think
Absolutely.
for companies also huge potential to expand their team, grow their team fast enough, and attract best in class talent. As I mentioned, it has helped us immensely, and we are very proud about that decision we took to stay remote, because
Right.
we are clearly seeing the benefits of the type of talent we are able to attract, right? Because speed and quality both matters, and especially when you are in an exponential growth phase, I think you need right talent at the right time, and that
Right.
has been helping us immensely ever since our decision of staying remote.
Right.
So yeah, I feel businesses would have to reevaluate their entire operations and try to embrace this change, because change is the only constant thing,
Right.
and we believe that adaptability and agility is very important, and any leadership should have that mindset, because
Hmm.
that's what world is going to demand in future, with all the unforeseeable situation and circumstances which we all gonna face in future.
Right, definitely. And I think people listening to this conversation will learn a lot and implement these in their startups or in their companies. So thank you so much, Nital, for taking out the time here and imparting your knowledge to the people out there.
Yeah. And on the last, to close my opinions, I would like to end up with Simon Sinek. He's a great author of a book which says Start with Why. And he says it is critical for companies to hire talent for right attitude in future, as skills can always be trained. And
Okay.
that's what remote has also given us quite evidence around that fact, because
Right.
technical skills can be trained, but what attitude teams is carrying becomes very crucial when they are working with no observations, no monitoring in their remote environment. So I
Right.
think that's the future.
Okay. I think the last quote that you mentioned is a cherry on the cake, definitely.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking out your time.
No worries, Suhana. I'm sure it will be helpful and insightful for the audience. And I hope I have not taken more than expected time, because I love speaking and love talking.
No, that's completely fine because we wanted as much of insights as we can for our audience. So thank you so
And
much.
this is all the topics are very close to my heart, so that's why I can't stop talking about it. Yeah,
Actually, that is the reason we picked up this topic, especially for Uplers, because we knew that it'll be a fun conversation to have with a company that is so people centric.
yeah, perfect, amazing. Really appreciate. Thanks for having me. It was great to be on your podcast, and I hope for us to circle back again in future.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Suhana. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.